Hey, what's going on? What's going on, family? Shalom, shalom. What's going on with the people? Shalom, shalom. Welcome to another edition of Maccabeestv. Your brother Priest Dan, representing Lions of Israel, Maccabeestv. You guys can see I'm sitting here in my car. I'm chilling. At work right now, but I just took a moment to come out to my car just for a few minutes. So I'm not going to be on very long. Hey, Shalom Adolphus, what's going on? I'm not going to be on very long. I just kind of want to comment on what kind of took place last night. By now, we should be kind of used to this. This should be kind of par for the course by now. Every time that you turn around that one of these celebrities mentions anything about us being Israelites or being Semites or whatever, it's just a matter of time before they wind up having to walk it back, right? Shalom Yosef, Shalom Linda, Shalom Nakumya, what's going on? Yeah. It's only a matter of time before these guys have to walk it back. By the way, if you guys are in the house, you can like the video, share the video. I'm not going to be on too long, and I may or may not even leave this video up. Just wanted to kind of get it off my chest. And also for anybody that's watching that's not aware of what's happening. So last night on Clubhouse, Amari Stoudemire, you guys might remember Amari Stoudemire, the basketball player that used to play for the Phoenix Suns, and eventually he came and played for the Knicks for a few years. And Amari was one of the first athletes. He's not the first, because you can go all the way back to Reggie White, that was a football player that acknowledged he was an Israelite, and others before him. Shalom to everybody that's in the chat. Shalom Sagun. You can go back many years, but Amari was one of the more prominent and more vocal people in modern times. You know, one of the first in modern times to really go hardcore and speak about him being an Israelite, right? So, you know, Amari's been lukewarm. He's been hot and cold. You guys already know that. I don't really have to run that whole history down for you guys. He's been lukewarm. So what happened was Amari was invited last night to Clubhouse to be in a room with Israelites, to be interviewed by Israelites. And so he came, and I think the interview went relatively well. Okay, for anybody that's not on Clubhouse, anybody that's on Clubhouse, I should say, the room is called God First Gang. If you go to the God First Gang room and you look up the room from last night, right, you guys will see that the it says the God First Gang interviews Amari Stoudemire. It's not on YouTube, so don't ask me where is it on YouTube, where's the video. It's not a video. It's on the Clubhouse app. And so brothers invited Amari last night to come and do an interview with brothers, and he came, and we thought the interview went pretty well. You know, needless to say, brothers kind of went light on him, went a little easy on him. We didn't really ask him anything that could get him in hot water whatsoever. You know, at least initially, you know what I'm saying? We wanted to build the trust. And when you're dealing with people that are public figures, a lot of times when you interview them, I know people be wanting brothers to go hard, but that's not really the way you go about it. The way you go about it is when you're dealing with somebody that's a public figure, you kind of want to work your way gradually to some of the more pointed questions, some of the more difficult questions. You kind of want to work your way to that. So I think brothers did an excellent job. Shout out to the God First Gang, particularly brother Yawasop from Rum Gadal, and of course brothers Corey and Mal Halab from the Tabernacle of David camp, right? These brothers did a great job interviewing Amari. And I would say that Amari was a lot more open with what he was saying than I would have expected him to be. He was basically saying that he believes that we are the real Jews. He believes the understanding that we have concerning Deuteronomy chapter 28, specifically verse 68, to be more specific. Amari acknowledges that Israelites are also over here in the Western Hemisphere of the Americas. He acknowledged that. And he believes that a lot of the people that call themselves today Jews are converts. This is what he said. Nobody put a gun to his head. Nobody forced him to say it. He said these things on his own, family. If y'all in the room, make sure you guys hit the like button. Let's go. Come on. If you're in the room, make sure you guys hit the like button. And also share the video. I'm live on 3 different channels. I know this is unexpected, and it's a little early, so I know a lot of people are not going to be in here. But I may or may not leave it up, but I'm going to continue. So I thought the interview went really well. People came to the stage and asked him some questions. He also believes in the New Testament. He said he believes in, Christ, Yeshua, Yahushai. He believed in all these things. So the interview went really well. So we thought. Now, here's a couple of things that I noticed during the interview because I was in the audience. The first thing I noticed is that he mentioned that he owns a minority stake in a basketball team in Israel of some sort. So that means that he is financially in bed with the Jewish people. Let's just say it that way. Nothing wrong with that when it comes to business. Business is business, right? You do business, you make money, you got a business. You sell to whoever wants to buy from you. So that's not a bad thing, right? There's also nothing wrong with ownership. So nothing wrong with that. But again, you're financially in bed with these people, right? Also, I believe Yahweh brought up the fact that he owns a wine company. If your wine company is based in Israel, more likely than not, your primary customer base is going to be some of these Jewish people. I'm going to use the word Jewish loosely today, just for the sake of this video, right? So he's financially invested. Plus, if I'm not mistaken, he's gotten citizenship in Israel, which even the people in Dimona, a lot of them couldn't do, which is why some of them are getting kicked out the land. They couldn't even get citizenship. He was able to get citizenship, if I'm not mistaken. So he got a lot of perks and everything simply for being a star athlete and coming and playing in their league for a couple of years and so forth and so on. He's gotten a lot of perks, right? So, of course, when you get these perks from these people, you can't say certain stuff. You just can't say certain stuff. So he came in the room and he spoke very candidly, a lot more candidly than I expected him to do. Family, I exaggerate not. As soon as the interview was over and we looked in the hallway on Clubhouse, if you're on Clubhouse, you know what we mean by the hallway. When we looked in the hallway, we saw that the Jewish people had a response room to the interview with Amari, right? Right away. And of course, they was going in. They didn't like what he was saying. Not that he said anything really bad about them. He just spoke the truth. As far as he understands it, as far as his studies is concerned, right? He didn't bash them or anything like that. So there was a room on Clubhouse, right? Then within, I'm gonna say, I don't want to exaggerate. I want to say within another hour after that, Amari was back on Clubhouse, and this time he was in their room and they were grilling him. So what that says to me, reading between the lines, Amari got that phone call, right? He got that phone call. He got some type of phone call, or somebody reached out. Hey, there was a slogan for the phone companies in the 80s and the 90s that reach out and touch somebody. Yeah, somebody reached out and touched him. You know what I'm saying? And spoke to him and spoke some words that kind of stirred him up and got his ass right back on Clubhouse, because he told us that he was in the States and he had a flight going to Israel. So he wasn't really, we didn't try to keep him on the interview for too long. I don't want to say we, because I wasn't on stage, but brothers didn't try to keep him on stage for too long because he said he had to go to Israel. But somehow or another, he found a way to be on Clubhouse for a couple of hours in their room getting grilled. And everything that the man told us in our room about believing us to be Jews, believing in the Messiah, them being converts, everything that he said, he took it back. I'm talking about within 2 hours. That's faster than Nick Cannon, y'all. I thought Nick Cannon was fast. I thought Nick Cannon got checked fast. Nah. Within 2 hours, he was taking back everything he said. Just like that. We should not be surprised, family. We should not be surprised. This is why, over and over, on whatever platforms I'm able to get on, I've spoken to a few people that have blue checks on Instagram. I'll say that. And I tell these guys the same thing all the time. I'm like, you don't have to say what we say. You don't necessarily have to do what we do, right? You being a celebrity and whatever it is, whether it's an actor, a musician, a sports player, you being in position, right? You have connections and you have finances. So there are other ways to help us rather than be in front of the camera and risk your financial investments. I'm not saying that you can't do that if you do it, but you're supposed to understand the consequences that come with it. You're supposed to consider the cost, as the scriptures say. You should know your financial investments that you have and who they are intertwined with. And if you are concerned about losing that, then why the hell are you coming on Clubhouse and saying anything? Nobody forced you. We tell these celebrities over and over again, you can use your finances to position and help brothers that can be on the front and that can say things that you can't. Now, I know a lot of times you guys have financial advisors and people that kind of audit your finances, so you can't directly give to brothers, but that's what proxies are for, right? You set somebody up and you give them the money to give to brothers, so forth and so on. That's all I'll say on the internet. What's understood don't need to be said. I ain't got to be specific. You get it. You don't have to do it directly, but you could do it indirectly financially. You have access to media that we don't, platforms that we don't, connections to people that we don't. So you put brothers in position to say the things that you believe, but you can't say. But over and over, one after the other, we're watching these celebrities come forward. They open their mouth and insert foot. That's what's been happening. And it's a damn shame, man. That was record time. Amari, you done set the world record. I don't think nobody gonna break your record, man. I don't think it was 2 hours before you was backtracking already. And you can't blame anybody because everything that you said it. Brothers kind of soft, kind of lobbed you to, like softball, they kind of lobbed you the question. But you came right out, flat out, and said certain things. Right? And then you had to walk it back. It's a shame, it's sad. But I just wanted to inform you, brothers and sisters, if y'all want to see, or if you guys want to listen to the audio, you have to have the Clubhouse app, right? So you got to download the Clubhouse app. If you're not on Clubhouse already, you guys have to join the God First Gang Club on Clubhouse, and then the audio replays are there. I'm not sure if brothers are actually going to upload the audio to YouTube. They might or they might not. I'll ask Yawasop and Corey and Malhalab later if that's something that they want to do or not. Hey, shalom. Hey, shalom to my brother Yabatazar in the building. Hey, Chocolate City Girl, shalom to you too. Braze Club, shalom to you too. Mr. Know-It-All, shalom. Shalom to everybody. Obadiah Yasharla, shalom to everybody. Yeah, so this is a little road rage. I ain't did a road rage on this channel in a while, right? I remember y'all used to like those videos I used to do, the road rage videos and stuff like that, man. So yeah, I'm gonna ask those brothers if they're gonna upload this to YouTube. But if not, you guys can hear the audio on Clubhouse. But I mean, at the end of the day, I just gave you guys the cliff notes already. There's really not a whole lot to say. I mean, these celebrities got to stop doing stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna say something, stand on it. That's all. Or don't say it. It's really that simple, because it's becoming embarrassing to watch all these brothers have to backtrack on what we know that you believe. The first time that you spoke, you said the truth. The first time that Nick Cannon spoke, he said the truth. Everything that he said subsequent to that was based on the fact that they was trying to destroy that brother. They was trying to cancel him and destroy him. What Kanye said first, and he said it more than one time. You guys do realize that Kanye was on he was on Drink Champs twice, and he said that thing about us being Semites and us being the blood of Judah. He said that twice, not once, twice. I got both videos, right? So he said it twice. He said it and he stood on it. But the second time it got traction. The first time it didn't get so much traction, but the second time it got traction, right? And then he had to backtrack on that thing to a degree, right? To a degree. He didn't backtrack that much, but he did backtrack to a degree, right? And then wound up marrying us anyway. And then Brother Kyrie, who I have a lot of respect for, you know what I'm saying? The brother stood strong, right? But at the end of the day, he had to feed his family. So it is what it is. Like, I'm not here to tear any of those brothers down. I know some brothers might be like, F that, I'll leave that to you. I'm not here to tear any of these brothers down. What I am saying to them and to any celebrity in general, and what I would say and what I have said to a few people that have blue checks, like I said, that I've talked to on Instagram, that we have been in the inbox together. First, I would never say who it is, but number two, I've said the same thing. I'm like, yo, bro, you ain't got to say nothing. You don't have to necessarily come out and say anything if you're concerned, but just help, right? The scriptures teach us in the book of Corinthians about the body. And one of the functions of the body is you're going to have people that are helps. I think people forget that scripture. Everybody's not going to be a prophet. Everybody's not going to be a teacher. Everybody's not going to have different gifts. Some people are just going to be here to help. And you help according to your position in life. Your position might be to help financially. Your position might be to help because you have connections, whatever it is, then you do that. You don't have to necessarily do what the brothers that be in front of the camera do. I don't know how many times we got to tell these brothers this, but it's like one after the other after the other. It's becoming predictable. It's like watching a movie. Oh shoot. It's almost an accident, y'all. Don't mind me. It's almost like watching a movie 5 times, right? And by the time you watch the movie the 3rd or 4th times, you already know you could basically say the jokes or say the lines before they even said, because you done seen this. This is what we're seeing with these celebrities over and over and over again. So it's interesting. I just wanted to speak on that really quickly, man. You know, yeah, if the video gets uploaded to YouTube, I will definitely let you guys know about that. I'm not gonna be before you guys long because I'm about to go into the gym real quick for an hour. But I just want to talk about 2 more things really quickly, if I could, and I appreciate those of y'all that are listening. Number 2, I've said this to a lot of people privately, and now I'm going to say it publicly, because I've been saying it to a lot of people for a long time, and I'm seeing it happening. If we do not tell our story, the white man is going to tell our story for us, and then we're going to cry and whine and bitch about the fact that the story is not being told accurately. That's what's going to happen. This week, the devil, you guys call him Vocab Malone, I call him Mark Reiser. That's the devil, right? He had a video on his YouTube page, and he calls himself Breaking Down the History of One West. He's talking about Abba Bevis. He's talking authoritatively as though he was there, as though he was a part of it. Got some guests on there doing the same thing. And then brothers are belly aching about it. Vocab, and you know what I'm saying? And you know, it's crazy. Brothers are sending me links like, did you see this? And stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking and I'm saying, and I've said to brothers, and I've said it to a few people, hey, if you don't tell your story, somebody else is going to tell it for you. If you, God forbid, pass away before your story is told, you're leaving it for somebody else to tell your story for you. The person that tells your story just might be the one who is your enemy. Ask King James about that. Ask King James about that. We have a historical precedent for what I'm saying. When King James died, right, there was a book written called The Court and Character of King James. It was written by Sir Anthony Weldon. This is after King James died, after his son Charles I was beheaded by Oliver Cromwell, right? After all this was done, then you had a book come out called The Court and Character of King James. This is where a lot of those tropes, let's use the words they use nowadays, this is where a lot of those tropes come from, about him being a homosexual and all this other garbage that you hear. It comes from Anthony Weldon, who was an enemy of the king, who actually told the king's story. And it stuck. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? And it stuck. If you don't tell your story about what happened at the old school and stuff like that, you leave it to the devil, like Vocab Malone and others, and them other devils that were with him, including the Israelite devils that was with him on his platform too. Yeah, you niggas that was on Vocab's platform, you're devils too. All of you, you're devils too. If you leave it to them, they're gonna tell a story and they're gonna lie. I've told brothers this before, and now you guys are seeing that manifested. So brothers better understand what it is I'm saying. And I ain't gonna say much more than that, right? And listen, at the end of the day, those of us that was at the old school, we're all getting older. Now I'm still relatively young per se, in terms of the fact that I came into the school in my teens. So even though I've been around a long time, I'm not that up in age like some other brothers. But I'm getting up in age nonetheless. And some brothers are very high up in age. Brothers better consider that and make sure that the real truth and the real story is out there, and repeat it over and over again. However you present it, make sure that you putting the right story out there, because you got the devil lying out here about a lot of stuff. Sometimes I sit down and I listen to these stories that brothers be saying about One West, and I'm like, okay, how come nobody knows you? Like those of us that was there, we all know each other. We all know each other. Why nobody knows you? You just some mystery nigga that got all the stories about what happened, but nobody knows you. That's what's happening. And it's partially our fault, because we have not curated our history the way we're supposed to as Israelites. I got to tell you that, right? And I'm very passionate about that, and I'm going to leave that there for now. But, you know, we have to do better, right? I really don't want to say more than that for now, but I will say something. I'll say a little bit more about it in the months to come. You know what I'm saying? In the months to come, I'm going to say more about it, right? But I'm not there yet to say more right now than what I've already said. But understand the importance of it. A lot of stuff that you brothers be hearing about at the old school be lies, bro. It be lies. It'd be from people that wasn't even there. You heard from somebody that heard from somebody that heard from somebody. Or your ass came in 98, 99, like after everything already happened, and you got stories from 92. How is that possible? How is it possible? Right. Nobody knows that guy. Who knows Faithful? Nobody knows him. You got all these stories and nobody knows the guy from back then. Nobody. But it's our fault. We allowing somebody else to tell our story, then they're going to monetize your story, right? Like, for instance, right? A couple of years ago, they made a movie on Tupac. People are like, the movie is not accurate, right? People made a movie on Biggie Smalls. People are saying that the people that were actually involved don't like the way the movie was put together, right? Little Kim didn't like the movie. Other people didn't like the movie. She didn't like who they cast as her character, and she didn't like the way the story was presented. The same is true for Tupac. Y'all don't see that? We have contemporary examples in our lifetime of people that was around in our lifetime in the 90s making music. They died. Somebody else told a story, and the people that were involved in the story are saying that's not what happened. The same thing is happening in the Israelite community. I hope y'all recognize it. It's the same thing is happening. So I just wanted to sound the alarm on that, but it's okay. It's going to be okay. That's all I can really say about that for the time being. So that is my rant. Let me see what time it is. I got to go to the gym and work out, man. I only got 45 minutes, which should be sufficient. Yeah, I got to go to the gym and work out. So that's pretty much my rant for this morning. I know I haven't done these road rage series like I used to do them and stuff like that. That's just because I actually changed my schedule. I used to go to the gym in the afternoons, right? But now I go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, which is when I used to do my road rages. So that's why I haven't been doing them. But from time to time, you know, I'll have to come outside my job and vent, and I'll do that because I know you guys would be liking to see the priest vent a little bit. Really quickly, just a couple of points to note. We are definitely responding to any and all emails concerning Passover. You guys see the ticker at the bottom of the screen. For us, Passover is April 3rd, 2023. It's going to be held in Newark, New Jersey. If you have sent me an email, you will either you got a response already or you will have a response by tomorrow, right? And we'll let you know exactly what's expected, what we need, so forth and so on. We're not contentious over the dates. We're not argulites. There's enough argulites already. I call them argulites. People like to argue about everything. How about an argulite? April 3rd is when we're having ours, right? If you're April 1st, if you're April 5th, whenever you're having yours, just keep the law, statutes, and commandments. We'll see eye to eye when Yahweh Shah comes back as far as the calendar and how the calendar is understood. So the email is at the bottom. Please check that out. I want to thank everybody that has been supporting the camp, you know what I'm saying, going to our website and donating and supporting the camp. I want to give a shout out to everybody that's done our academy. You brothers that have done the academy all the way through the 6 months. You guys are going to graduate at Passover, so shout out to y'all. I definitely appreciate y'all doing that. And lastly, of course, everyone that watches our Sabbath class, if you guys are not familiar, if you're not aware, we have our Sabbath class every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern time on this channel and on our other YouTube channel, Lions of Israel class. We're live on both channels every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we've been doing a lot of work in these classes. We've been going over a lot of history, information overload, and Most High allowed that will continue on this upcoming Sabbath. So again, family, I appreciate you brothers and sisters listening. I love y'all. Most High bless each and every one of you brothers and sisters. I'm trying to see. I want to make sure I didn't leave anybody out when I'm supposed to be shouting out. Let me see. Did I not miss anybody? I think I shouted everybody out. I don't think I, yeah. Before I go, anybody have anything real quick? Any questions? Okay, there we go. Any questions before I go? I ain't answering nothing too deep right now because I got to get in the gym, but I'll give you guys 30 seconds. If I don't see anything pop up on my screen in 30 seconds, then you asked out. Till next time. You know what I'm talking about? So anybody have anything that they need me to discuss before we go? I think what's understood doesn't need to be said. Yeah. Well, alrighty then. I think I done touched everything because y'all ain't saying nothing. So Messiah, you it's on Clubhouse. And I know it's on Clubhouse, and I know, you know what I'm saying, you're not on Clubhouse anymore, you know. So unfortunately, that's where it is. So sorry, bro. I don't know how you're going to be able to see it because you're not on Clubhouse anymore. But that's where it is. All right, family, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. It's your brother, Priest Danyaahla, representing Lions of Israel, Maccabeestv. I love y'all, brothers and sisters, and I will see y'all on the Sabbath, Most High will. With that, I say shalom.
And I beheld heaven open, and behold the white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. We are at
so you better lace your straps up.
Physical and spiritual.
We're at war, so you better lace your straps up.
Man, the hell up this room.
This is war.
We are at war.
So you better lace your straps up.
And spiritual.
We're at war. So you better lace your straps up.
Big tanks, warships, and planted hands with small chips. North Korea, Russian spies, war is at our doorsteps. History doesn't lie, they beat the slaves with horse whips. So I think it's only right we pay them back with sword tips. End of time, spoken